In the previous episode, Sho Yamato returns to his normal life, attending school and riding his Flame Kaiser. A startling revelation about a 10th Idaten bike surfaces, hinting at another bike capable of manipulating electricity. Despite being perplexed, Sho rushes to school, accepting a challenge from Wakasugi Kunamichi. The episode ends with a mysterious message from Arthur, leaving questions about X-City's situation, Kyoichi's disappearance, and their return to X-City. Sho and friends discussing the return to X-City. Makoto reveals Kyoichi's disappearance, and a hologram from him explains his quest for the 10th Idaten bike. Sho, Makoto, and friends decide to venture into X-City, facing memory loss from their previous visit. A holomapper and a mysterious device guide them. Sho's brother Ayumu joins the mission, and Kakeru discovers information in MTB books. With a plan to perform the Idaten cross-jump at midnight, Ayumu insists on joining. At midnight, Sho, Ayumu, Gabu, and Makoto execute the Idaten cross-jump, transporting them to a devastated X-City, challenging Sho to an Idaten jump battle, promising answers. The episode leaves viewers intrigued about X-City's fate, the mysterious challenger, and the whereabouts of Kyoichi.
Episode 4, Echoes of Devastation.
Sho and his friends stand frozen, hearts pounding in their chests. The disembodied voice hangs in the air, its origin a mystery. Fear prickles at Sho's skin. X-City, once a vibrant hub, is now a desolate wasteland. Broken buildings cast long, jagged shadows under the pale moonlight. The air itself feels heavy with unspoken tragedy. Makoto breaks the silence, his voice trembling. Sho, who was that? Do you think it's a trap? Sho shakes his head, his gaze scanning the deserted street. I don't know, but we can't ignore a challenge. We need answers. He turns to Gabu and Ayumu, determination hardening his expression. We have to accept. This might be our only lead. Gabu, ever the rival, smirks. Fine by me. I'm itching for a good race anyway. Especially in this creepy ghost town. Ayumu, the most cautious of the group, bites his lip. Are you sure, Sho? This feels too dangerous. Sho places a hand on Ayumu's shoulder, offering a reassuring smile. We'll be careful. Besides, we have to find Kyoichi and Mitsuki. We can't back down now. The unknown voice echoes once more, laced with amusement. Wise choice, Sho Yamato. But be warned, this won't be an easy race. This city holds many secrets, and some are best left buried. A shiver runs down Sho's spine. He doesn't like the sound of that. But with a deep breath, he steels himself. We're ready. Where do we go? The voice chuckles, a chilling sound that seems to emanate from the very walls of the ruined city. Follow the sound of destruction. It will lead you to your opponent, and your destiny. With a final, ominous laugh, the voice fades into nothingness. Sho and his friends exchange nervous glances. They have no choice but to follow the voice's cryptic instructions. The fate of X-City, and perhaps their own, might depend on it. Dust motes dance in the pale moonlight as Sho and his friends navigate the labyrinthine streets of X-City. The air is thick with the scent of decay and something else. An acrid tang that lingers on the tongue, a reminder of the destruction that befell this once great city. Their journey takes them past crumpled skyscrapers, their glass facades shattered, revealing the hollow skeletons within. Twisted metal beams jut from the ground like broken teeth. The silence is broken only by the rhythmic hum of their bikes and the occasional creak of a collapsing structure. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shadows ahead. Clad in a sleek, black Idaten suit, the rider stands defiant, his bike a menacing silhouette against the ruined cityscape. This is no ordinary opponent. An aura of raw power and experience hangs heavy around him. Sho Yamato, the figure speaks, his voice a low growl that seems to vibrate through the very ground. Finally, you've arrived. Sho skids to a halt, his heart pounding. Who are you? The rider steps into the moonlight, revealing a scarred face etched with a lifetime of battles. His eyes, a cold, steely blue, lock onto Sho's. Call me Kuro, and I am the guardian of this city's secrets. Makoto whispers, fear evident in his voice. Sho, this guy doesn't seem friendly. Gabu snorts. Finally, a decent challenge. Don't worry, Sho, I'll back you up if things get too rough. Ayumu grabs Gabu's arm, his voice tight. Gabu, wait, this could be a trap. Ignoring Ayumu's plea, Sho steps forward. He can't let fear rule him now. He needs answers. Alright, Kuro, we accept your challenge. What kind of race is it? Kuro throws his head back and laughs, a harsh, joyless sound that echoes through the ruins. A race of survival, Sho Yamato. A test of your skills, your courage, and your will to win. With a gesture, Kuro reveals the race course. It's a nightmarish gauntlet that weaves through the broken cityscape. Jagged concrete chunks litter the path, fallen wires spark ominously, and gaping chasms threaten to swallow anyone who loses their footing. It's a course designed to push riders to their absolute limits. Sho swallows hard. This is no ordinary race. It's a dance with death. But he can't back down now. Not with X City's fate hanging in the balance. Taking a deep breath, Sho throws his leg over his flame Kaiser. Gabu and Ayumu mount their bikes, their expressions a mix of apprehension and determination. Makoto remains behind, fear etched on his face. Kuro raises his hand. The rules are simple. First one to reach the finish line wins. However, beware, this city holds no mercy for the weak. Be prepared for anything. He lowers his hand, and in a flash, the race begins. Kuro shoots off like a bullet, his bike a blur of black against the moonlit landscape. Sho and his friends dig in, pushing their bikes to the max. The initial sprint takes them through a maze of fallen debris. Sho weaves deftly through the wreckage, his years of experience guiding him. Gabu roars past him, relishing the challenge. Ayumu follows close behind, his caution momentarily forgotten in the heat of the race. The course takes a brutal turn, leading him up a crumbling highway ramp. Holes gape in the asphalt, revealing a dizzying drop below. Sho navigates the broken path with practiced ease, his flame Kaiser gripping the precarious surface like a mountain goat. Gabu, a natural daredevil, leaps across the gaps with reckless abandon. Ayumu, his face pale with fear, takes a more cautious approach, clinging to the side of the ramp. As they reach the peak of the ramp, the city sprawls beneath them, a desolate wasteland bathed in the sickly glow of a half-moon. Suddenly, the ground explodes in front of Sho. Kuro has triggered a hidden trap, a cluster of energy mines buried beneath the surface. Shrapnel rains down, forcing Sho to take evasive maneuvers. He barely avoids the deadly hail, his bike swerving precariously. Glancing back, he sees Gabu expertly weave through the debris, his face contorted in a feral grin. Ayumu, however, isn't so lucky. A stray piece of metal tears through his tire, sending him skidding across the pavement. Sho grits his teeth. He wants to help Ayumu, but the race continues. He pushes forward, determined to win for both of them. The race continues, a brutal contest of skill and survival. Sho navigates the treacherous course, dodging fallen debris and leaping over gaping chasms. The image of Ayumu, his bike crumpled at the edge of the highway, spurs him on. He has to win this race, not just for himself, but for his friends as well. Suddenly, a surge of power erupts behind him. Kuro, with a guttural scream, unleashes a burst of dark energy that engulfs his bike. His speed increases exponentially, leaving Sho in the dust. What the? Makoto shouts from his vantage point behind the shattered remains of a building. He's cheating. Sho can't keep up with that. Gabu, temporarily separated from the group, slows down, a frown creasing his face. No way. That's a forbidden technique. Kuro's playing dirty. Ayumu, struggling to get his mangled bike upright, watches in horror. Sho, he can't win against that. Sho feels the air whip past him as Kuro disappears into the night, a dark comet streaking through the ruins. Despair threatens to engulf him. But then, a spark of defiance ignites within him. He won't give up, not while his friends are in danger, not when the fate of X City hangs in the balance. He closes his eyes, focusing on the core of his being. Memories of past victories, his bond with his friends, the lessons learned from Mitsuki, all come flooding back. He feels a surge of power rising within him, a dormant energy waiting to be unleashed. With a roar, Sho throws his head back and shouts, "Enough is enough. Now, my turn." Idaten miracle jump. A blinding light erupts from Sho's flame Kaiser. Energy crackles around him, swirling in a vortex of unimaginable power. When the light fades, Sho is transformed. His bike glows with an ethereal blue light, its form slightly elongated. Sho and Kuro are locked in a dead heat. The empowered flame Kaiser, a blur of blue energy, chases the pulsating shadow of Kuro's bike. The distance between them shrinks to mere inches, a testament to the raw power unleashed by both riders. Their battle carves a path of destruction through the desolate landscape. Buildings crumble as they pass, the very air crackling with the intensity of their duel. Makoto, Gabu, and Ayumu watch from a distance, their hearts pounding in their chests. Sho can actually keep up. Makoto yells, a glimmer of hope flickering in his eyes. Gabu, his competitive spirit reignited, clenches his fists. "Yeah, don't give in, Sho. Show that cheater what you're made of." Ayumu, despite his injured leg, stands tall, his voice filled with determination. "Go Sho, you can win this." The finish line looms in the distance, a shimmering portal of pulsating light. The first to cross it will claim victory. With a final, desperate scream, Kuro throws everything he has left into a final burst of dark energy. The ground itself groans under the strain, cracks snaking across the cracked pavement. His bike surges forward, threatening to pass Sho. But Sho is ready. He remembers the advice Misuki once gave him: strength is not just about power, Sho. It's about using your will, your determination, to push past your limits. Taking a deep breath, Sho channels all his willpower, focusing on the bond with his flame Kaiser. In that moment, a blinding light erupts from the bike, even brighter than before. The empowered flame Kaiser lets out a deafening roar, a surge of pure energy propelling Sho forward. Suddenly, Kuro makes a move. A tendril of dark energy lashes out, snaking towards Sho's front wheel. It's a desperate attempt to knock him off balance. The blinding light fades, revealing Sho standing on a familiar platform. The cheers of the X-City crowd echo around him, albeit a little more subdued than he remembers. But the celebration feels hollow. His victory over Kuro hangs heavy in the air, tainted by the devastation he witnessed. He dismounts his flame Kaiser, the bike reverting to its normal form. He looks back at the shimmering portal, a portal that now seems to lead to an unknown future. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the smoke and dust behind him. It's Kuro, his face a mask of anger and frustration. He collapses to his knees, panting heavily. The dark energy that once surrounded him has vanished, leaving him drained and defeated. Sho approaches Kuro cautiously. "Why did you attack me? Why have you destroyed X-City?" Kuro looks up, his eyes burning with hatred. "Because of them, Shadow X. They came, took over the city, captured everyone. Miss Uki too." He coughs, a harsh rasping sound that echoes in the desolate landscape. Sho feels a jolt of fear shoot through him. Miss Uki captured, hope turns to dread in his heart. Who is Shadow X? What do they want? Kuro, gathering the last vestiges of his strength, lets out a dry laugh. "You think I'd tell you that? After what you've done?" He struggles to his feet, a defiant glint in his eyes. "We'll meet again, Sho Yamato. And next time, I won't hold back." With that, Kuro throws himself onto his bike and speeds off into the night, leaving a trail of dust and unanswered questions in his wake. Sho watches him go, a wave of emotions washing over him. Victory feels bittersweet. He has won the race, but at what cost? His friends stand behind him, their faces etched with worry. Ayumu limps forward, concern etched on his face. "Sho, what did he say? Is Miss Uki alright?" Makoto throws Sho a worried look. "And who are these Shadow X? Do they have something to do with the 10th Idaten bite?" Sho takes a deep breath, trying to process everything that has happened. He shares Kuro's words with his friends, the fear in his voice palpable. Gabu, his competitive spirit momentarily forgotten, clenches his fists. Those Shadow X, they'll pay for what they've done. A resolute glint enters Sho's eyes. Defeat is not an option. He may not know who Shadow X is, but he knows one thing for sure. He won't rest until he finds Mitsuki and brings those responsible for X City's destruction to justice. We may not have all the answers, Sho says, his voice firm with determination, but we do have a lead. Finding Mitsuki is our priority. Let's head into the city and see what we can find. The weight of their newfound knowledge hangs heavy on Sho and his friends. X City, once a vibrant hub, lies in ruins. Mitsuki, a beloved mentor, and possibly even Sho's father are all missing, captured by the enigmatic Shadow X. The air itself crackles with a sense of urgency. Sho stands amidst the wreckage, gazing out at the desolate cityscape. He turns to his friends, his voice resolute. We need a plan. First and foremost, we need to find Mitsuki. Makoto, his face grim, nods in agreement. And Kyoichi too. We haven't heard from him since he went missing. Gabu, ever the brash one, puffs out his chest. Those Shadow X won't know what hit them when we find them. Ayumu, despite his injured leg, stands tall. But where do we even begin? This whole city is a wasteland. Kakeru, the strategist of the group, scratches his head in frustration. We don't have any leads. No idea where to start looking. Sho takes a deep breath, trying to clear his head. The despair that threatens to consume him is replaced with a steely determination. He can't give up. Not now. We may not know where Mitsuki is being held, he says, his voice firm, but we have a starting point, X City itself. This place holds the answers we need. We just have to find them. A glimmer of hope flickers in Makoto's eyes. Sho's right. Maybe there's something left in the city, a clue, a message, anything that could lead us to Mitsuki and the others. Gabu, his competitive spirit momentarily subdued by the gravity of the situation, nods slowly. Yeah, maybe Kuro left something behind, a hint about Shadow X's whereabouts. Ayumu, looking around at the ruins, asks, but where do we even start looking? This city is massive. Sho looks around, his gaze falling on the remnants of a towering skyscraper. A spark of inspiration ignites in his eyes. His friends rally behind him, their faces etched with newfound determination. They may be outnumbered, outmatched, and facing an unknown enemy, but they refuse to give up. Together, they will find Mitsuki, Kyoichi, and Sho's father, no matter what the cost. Deep within the bowels of X City, a hidden chamber pulsates with a dark energy. In the center of the room, a figure shrouded in darkness sits on a throne, his face obscured by a swirling vortex of shadows. This is Raya, the enigmatic leader of Shadow X. A lone figure kneels before him, his voice trembling with fear. It's Kuro, defeated and drained. Lord Raya, Kuro rasps, his voice barely a whisper. I failed. Sho Yamato. He defeated me. Raya remains silent, the swirling vortex in front of him the only indication of his amusement. Finally, a deep, chilling chuckle fills the chamber. So, the legend of Sho Yamato holds true? Ria's voice, distorted and inhuman, echoes through the room. He defeated you, Kuro. How? Disappointing. Kuro flinches, his head bowed low. Forgive me, Lord Raya. I underestimated him. He has awakened some kind of hidden power. Raya raises a hand, silencing Kuro. Enough excuses. Failure is not tolerated in Shadow X. However, he continues, a hint of amusement creeping into his voice. This development intrigues me. Perhaps Sho Yamato is more than just a foolish legend after all. He turns towards a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. The figure steps forward, revealing a tall, imposing man with piercing red eyes and a cruel smile. This is Takuto, Shadow X's most ruthless enforcer. Takuto, Raya commands, his voice dripping with power. It seems it's time for you to entertain yourself. Sho Yamato and his friends have arrived in X City. Deal with them. Permanently. Takuto cracks his knuckles, a predatory glint in his eyes. With pleasure, Lord Raya. Consider them eliminated. A cruel smile stretches across Ria's face as he watches Takuto vanish into the shadows. Let's see if the legend of Sho Yamato can survive against true power, he mutters, the swirling vortex in front of him intensifying with a dark energy. The scene fades out, leaving the fate of Sho and his friends hanging in the balance.